morning. Welcome. First off, thank you very much to our hosts at TEAMZ. It's great to be back. This year is bigger than ever. It's exciting to be able to speak in front of, institutions, investors, builders, people who are really enthusiastic about Web3. What I'm here to talk about today is, the convergence play, the future of finance. Why does this matter? We are entering in the fourth crypto cycle, my personal third. And each time we enter a crypto winter, I'm often asked, well, what is going to bring us out? What is going to bring us from a period of contraction, concern, fear, uncertainty, to back to growth, back to investment, back to innovation? And each of the three cycles I've been in were led by something. So the first one was ICOs, then DeFi. And the last cycle was really around moving from a regulation through enforcement lens to regulation through legislation, which ultimately invited more and more participants to build in this space. And what I think is going to bring us forward in this cycle is actually what I consider the future of finance. There are four core primitives that are proving themselves in real product market fit, which will create the foundation for what I believe is the future of finance. The first one is stablecoins. The second one is payments and payment rails, companies that are innovating like Slash, like Rain, like WireX. The third is what I would consider RWA, right? This is a $450 trillion opportunity, the tokenization of everything. That's still in its early stages, but it's gaining a lot of traction. And the fourth is privacy. Privacy is essential for finance and crypto to come together. And that's being led by companies like Midnight. So let me jump ahead. Why does this matter? There's actually 1.4 billion people on the planet who do not have access to financial services. We take this for granted. Everyone in this room takes for granted that we have a stable currency, relatively speaking. We have financial access. We can buy a stock in Tesla, Apple, NVIDIA. You can buy an ETF from Vanguard. You can buy and sell gold relatively easily. But for 1 billion plus people, it's not possible. It's not possible at all. So I think we're going to go back to our crypto roots. When I got into crypto, one of the core themes was we are going to bank the unbanked. We are going to move from centralized platforms to decentralized platforms and make financial services accessible to all. Probably 7, 8 years ago, that wasn't possible. Regulations weren't there. The core primitives around stablecoins didn't have true liquidity. Real-world asset tokenization was a dream. But all of those things are now in place, and we're ready for this. The next question people ask me is it crypto? Is it TradFi? How do we think about this? We're all believers. For example, Cardano is one of the most decentralized layer ones. We take a lot of pride in that it's not controlled by a central organization. But I don't think it's an either or. I think it's a both. Both of them need to coexist. Increasingly when I come to conferences, increasingly when I come to meetings like this, I speak with more and more institutions, more and more financial institutions as well as enterprises who are very interested in blockchain technology, underlying value. And for us who are more crypto native, we need to embrace that. We are, as what I often say, stronger together. But it also leaves an elephant in the room. In November 2022, something happened. I think everyone knows what happened if you think about it. That's when ChatGPT was released to the public. AI became alive. It became useful. It became something that had real utility. And the practical reality of that is it is transformational in ways that blockchain would like to be, right? I often use the example or analogy like this. Crypto is a hammer in a room looking for a nail. We're constantly looking for use cases. It's not always natural. Sometimes we're trying to shoehorn it in or fit it in. But AI is a hammer in a room full of nails. There's so many applications, so many ways for AI to transform businesses. So I believe that we need to address that in crypto as well. Now, forgive me, I need to jump a couple of slides and I'll come back. in a world of AI, blockchain is actually the only honest immutable ledger. And this is why we have a right to exist. So when you think about it and you see what advances are happening in AI right now, where video is indistinguishable from reality, you need something that is AI resistant. And blockchain, by its very nature, is AI resistant. And there are actually, at Cardano and other chains, we are moving more towards a quantum resistant blockchain as well. So you need to have crypto or blockchain as an underlying foundational layer, because if you're a financial services firm, you need to trust the ledger, right? And so for them, they see blockchain as essential and AI as inevitable. Let's come back a couple of slides. So TradFi is definitely going to run on blockchain. It's happening every day. There's increasing adoption. Every conversation I have with a bank, a financial institution, asset manager, they're thinking about using it and implementing it in a real way. Crypto is AI resistant. It's an essential core primitive in the future of finance to safeguard our assets. But I think agentic AI will actually manage it all. But why will TradFi adopt blockchain rails? Very simple. It's not the technology. It's just cheaper, faster, and stronger, right? It's really, really straightforward. They think about dollars and cents, not about the coolness of projects or coolness of technology stacks. Does it work? Is it cheaper? Is it faster? Is it safer? So TradFi plus crypto plus AI is going to be the new financial stack. You're going to see agentic run it all. You're going to see TradFi continue to exist, certainly, right? But adopting blockchain technology. And this is the convergence play. This is uniting TradFi, crypto, and AI together. So what's the so what? This is all great, Phil. You're telling us what certainly makes sense, but how is this actually happening in day-to-day? Is there real product market fit? Is it really going to work? Or is it simply more promise? Well, fact one, there's 300 billion in stablecoins that have been minted. That's only going to go bigger and bigger. It's only going to reach the trillions, right? RWA is in its early stages. 30 to 40 billion assets have been tokenized. That is going to go into the trillions. But when you look at what's being settled right now, 7.2 trillion settlement layer for stablecoins took place last month. ACH, 6 trillion. That's the first time in human history that crypto stablecoins have settled more transactions than traditional finance. Now think about that for a second, right? There's only 300 billion in stables right now. Think about how much M1, M2 money supply exists. It's in the trillions, trillions upon trillions, right? But settlement already in crypto is exceeding that. When you see USDC, USDT, and other stables continue to mint into the trillions, now you're going to see RWA happening at scale, right? And so it is happening. It is an inevitability. And so what is this going to birth? In my view, the core primitive, the core narrative, I should say, that is going to take us out of this crypto winter is really neobanking. We're seeing all of these elements be born in new companies, right? You're seeing new card issuers. You're seeing new borrowing and lending. You're seeing new payment rails. You're seeing more stables. You're seeing ways for us as individuals to take control of our money again, right? And do this in a way that converges TradFi, DeFi, and AI. And so this is what I believe is really what's taking us to a world where we can send, save, swap, and control our money in one platform, right? It solves all 5 of these things. And this is really, really important, coming full circle back to the 1.4 billion people who do not have access to a financial services system. Right? Crypto can finally do good, can finally make a difference by embracing TradFi, by embracing AI, and going back to its roots, now that we have those 4 core primitives, to serve a sizable enough TAM that investors will come in, right? Users will adopt. If I were to ask you a question, MetaMask, for example, one of the top wallets out there, did you know that 13% of their users are in Nigeria? 13%. In 20 years, 40% of the world's population will come from sub-Saharan Africa. These are growth markets, right? These are markets that do not have access to these financial services that, again, we in this room take for granted. So the future is incredibly bright. We will lead this in the developed markets. We'll certainly lead, but the emerging markets is where we're going to see growth. And I see a world, frankly, where everyone will have two banks. One bank that they inherited. It is the equivalent of your city bank. It's the equivalent of the bank that you use to pay your mortgage, pay your bills, the one that is in other people's custody. You're trusting the bank to do that. And we'll also have your own bank, your own neobank, which is self-custodied. One that you choose, one that you control your money. And if I were to ask you a very somewhat controversial question, if you ask yourself honestly, is it easier to work with your bank today, or is it harder? Right? Do you feel your money is safer today, or is it less safe? Do you feel your money is worth more today, or worth less? Do you feel you have access to financial products that is on much more of a level playing field? Or do you feel that there are those who have and those who have not? And I think all of us, if we ask ourselves honestly, we say to any number of those questions, we want more. We deserve better. And I think very strongly that this is the world that is going to evolve. And this is what's going to take us out of this crypto winter and bring us to a new era of growth where we bring TradFi, DeFi, and AI together. And this, in my view, is the future of finance. And so thank you for your time. I hope this was interesting. I hope this created some questions. Love for you to follow me. Love for you to find me. I'll be wandering around. Love to talk about it more. And I wish you a great rest of the conference. Thanks very much.